Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're exploring a totally paradigm-shifting concept that fundamentally changes how we view our money, our homes, and, honestly, our happiness. We're looking at the hidden relationship between possessions and true wealth. Okay, let's dive into this.
I want you to picture two apartments, right next door to each other, in the exact same neighborhood. Over on the left, we've got someone earning $95,000 a year. Their place is absolutely packed, A massive 75-inch TV, a $4,000 leather sectional, closets literally overflowing with clothes that still have tags on them, and a spare room that's basically just a storage unit at this point. But beneath all that flashy surface, there is sheer panic. They check their bank account with a knot in their stomach because they are exactly 2 missed paychecks from a total financial crisis. Now look over on the right. This person earns almost half as much, $52,000 a year. Their apartment has open space, a modest couch, tools they actually use, and a spare bedroom that, get this, is actually used as a bedroom. This person walks around with calm confidence. They've got 18 months of living expenses saved up, and they comfortably invest 20% of every single paycheck. So how on earth does the person earning half as much have 10 times the financial security? Well, because it's not really a story about income, is it? It's about deliberate living.
Section 1. The hidden second cost of ownership.
To understand exactly how that second person built such an incredible safety net, we have to undergo a total paradigm shift. You see, everything you own actually costs you money twice. The first cost is just the receipt. But that second cost, that breaks down into 4 relentless, ongoing categories that most of us completely ignore. First up, storage. Every single item demands space in your home, and residential space is definitely not free. Second, maintenance. Things have to be cleaned, they have to be insured, they have to be repaired. Third is mental energy. This one is fascinating. Researchers have actually found that visual clutter directly increases your cortisol levels. Your stuff is literally stressing you out, demanding your attention and draining your focus. And finally, opportunity cost. Every dollar locked up in a dusty physical object is a dollar that cannot be invested for your future.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can put a hard dollar amount on that storage cost. Take a treadmill that, let's be honest, usually ends up just being a really expensive clothing rack. In most urban areas, residential space costs roughly $30 to $50 per square foot annually. When you account for the clearance space a treadmill requires, you're paying $600 to $1,000 every single year in implicit rent just to store that machine in your house.
And the opportunity cost? That is even more staggering. Let's say you bought a $15,000 home gym setup that barely ever gets used. If that exact same $15,000 had been placed into index funds instead, over 15 years it could have easily grown to $50,000 or more. You didn't just buy a home gym, you bought a home gym instead of future financial freedom. The purchase price is merely the entry fee, guys.
Section 2. The acquisition filter. Rules for buying less.
Once you really see the true cost of things, you need a system to protect your money. Let's talk about cost per use. It's really the only honest measure of value, and it's your ultimate weapon against impulse buying. Think about it. If you buy a $200 trendy jacket but only wear it twice, that just costs you $100 per wear. That is obscenely expensive. Meanwhile, a $2,000 high-quality mattress used every single night for 10 years costs roughly 55 cents per use. By just doing this simple math in your head, you quickly realize that expensive items used daily provide extraordinary value, while cheap, rarely used gadgets are actually a massive drain on your wealth.
But listen, minimalists know better than to just rely on willpower alone. Willpower depletes when you're tired or stressed or emotional, right? Instead, they design systems that create friction for spending. Step 1, just delete those shopping apps right off your phone. Step 2, remove your saved credit card numbers from all your favorite online retailers. Step 3, implement a strict 24-hour waiting rule for any non-essential purchase. What you're doing here is structurally engineering your environment so that making the right choice becomes the easy, automatic choice.
Look at the sheer power of that 24-hour waiting rule alone. Implementing just this one system eliminates roughly 70% of impulse purchases. 70%! Most desires for objects aren't genuine needs at all. They're just temporary emotional impulses that naturally fade away within a single day if you just force yourself to wait before acting on them.
Another incredibly powerful rule is simply counting what you already have. Counting forces awareness. Awareness prevents accumulation. Most people wildly underestimate what they actually own. If you guess you have, say, 15 shirts, and then you go physically count them and realize you actually own 47, your behavior shifts instantly. Suddenly buying shirt number 48 doesn't feel like a fun little treat anymore. The pure absurdity of it becomes entirely visible to you.
Section 3. The maintenance filter. Rules for keeping less.
Now that we've filtered what comes into our lives, we have to shift our focus to managing the ecosystem of objects we already own. I want you to walk through your home and ask yourself this incredibly clarifying question. If this item disappeared today, would you actually spend real money to replace it? Be deeply honest with yourself. Would you go out and buy another fondue set? Would you repurchase that dusty bread maker sitting in the back of the cabinet? If the answer is no, those items are existing in your life entirely through inertia. They have negative value. They are draining your space, they're draining your mental energy, and they need to be ruthlessly eliminated.
So the crucial point is understanding the difference between actual mechanical failure and the simple desire for novelty, or let's just call it what it is, boredom. High earners constantly fall into this trap. They replace a perfectly functional phone just because the new one has a slightly better camera. They trade in a reliable car for updated styling. When you really think about it, replacing a functional item just out of boredom is basically just wealth destruction disguised as progress.
And the long-term math on this upgrade culture is truly shocking. Upgrading your phone every 2 to 3 years when the old one works perfectly fine will cost you $30,000 to $50,000 over a 30-year period. When you apply that same boredom upgrade habit across all categories, cars, furniture, electronics, the lifetime waste easily exceeds $200,000. Think about that. That is money stolen directly from your future freedom, all for the fleeting thrill of novelty.
Section 4. The ecosystem of stuff.
You see, every purchase you make is actually just the tip of the iceberg. Purchases rarely exist in a vacuum. This is known as the lifestyle multiplier effect. When you buy a boat, you aren't just buying a boat, right? You're buying a trailer to move it, storage fees for the winter, specialized insurance, ongoing maintenance supplies, and potentially even a whole new truck just to tow the thing. A purchase that looks singular triggers a massive cascade of supporting purchases. A $5,000 initial spend quickly balloons into a $12,000 ongoing ecosystem. Minimalists always calculate the full ecosystem cost before they swipe their card. To survive this multiplier effect, you literally have to define one very powerful word: enough. You have to decide in advance what level of material comfort actually constitutes genuine satisfaction for you. Without defining enough, you're running an endless race. Your income goes up, so you upgrade your lifestyle. Then that new lifestyle just feels normal, so you need even more money just to feel like you're making progress. But if you draw a finish line, if you say your current wardrobe or $30,000 car is enough, then every future dollar of extra income flows straight past the retail stores and directly into your financial freedom.
Section 5. Redefining true wealth. It's time to redefine what true wealth actually looks like, moving completely away from the endless cycle of accumulation. And this brilliantly illustrates the core minimalist belief. Real wealth is measured by optionality, not by visible markers of success. It's about what you can choose to do. Can you leave a job that's destroying your mental health? Can you take 6 months off to care for a sick family member? Can you move for love or start a business or retire before you're 65? You simply can't do those things if all your money is tied up in a boat you never use and a car you can't really afford. Optionality requires liquid resources, not physical objects. To maintain this kind of optionality, a great practical trick is cyclical decluttering. Most people do a massive annual purge, they feel amazing for about a month, and then they gradually fill their home right back up with junk. Minimalists know that removing just 3 items a week completely beats purging 300 items a year. Small, regular reviews keep you hyper-aware of your spending habits and catch the problem before it rebuilds to overwhelming levels. This all ties back to a really deep psychological truth. People trap themselves in a vicious cycle. They spend money to feel good, which leaves them financially insecure, which then creates an emotional void, which they try to fill with, you guessed it, more spending. The virtuous cycle is the complete opposite, and it is incredibly empowering. When you save your money, you build actual real security. And a fascinating thing happens. That real security naturally dissolves the emotional compulsion to buy more things. You don't need designer stuff to feel successful because your robust bank account is already telling you the exact story you want to hear.
And you know what? The research completely backs this up. Beyond a basic baseline of comfort and security, spending more money simply doesn't scale with happiness. Acquiring more things contributes minimally to your overall well-being. So, the ultimate goal is to align your behavior with reality. Spend exactly what you need to be deeply comfortable and ruthlessly redirect all the excess cash toward buying back your time and your freedom.
So as we wrap up this explainer, we return to those 2 apartments from the very beginning. Both lifestyles are entirely available to you, regardless of your current income. It all comes down to one fundamental choice that will determine the trajectory of your entire financial life. Do you own your possessions, or are you comfortable with your possessions owning you. Think deeply about that the next time you open your wallet.